Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We have an updated, let me scroll up a little, updated rankings on the rookie class. Isn't that fantastic? And it is once again, this is the second one by him, is once again by our buddy Neil Payne, whose first one, if you remember, had Cameron Brink as the number one rookie and Caitlin Clark all the way down at number 6. Yes, she was number 6, if you remember. Now, Neil, once again, like the previous one, if we scroll down here after the number 1 there, hey, you can pay $11 to continue reading this wonderful, wonderful, deeply insightful article on rookie rankings. I have to say, well, it says the two have begun to put distance between themselves, so I'm guessing he does have Caitlin at number 2. Um, but wow. So we're gonna dive into this a little bit just to show you what he's doing. First, we've debunked this historic double streak. That's has not happened. It's been stopped multiple times. But setting that aside, let's take a look at this. They've used 3 different advanced value metrics: win shares, estimated wins added from player efficiency rating, which, by the way, is an absolutely useless statistic that completely overweights post players compared to guards. And then wins generated via estimated Raptor, a plus minus style stat that accounts for both a player's individual production and her effect on her team's net rating during a game. Oh, and it's a big improvement adding this. It's a big improvement. Um, First of all, I got to tell you, and I think I mentioned this briefly before, I'm not even a fan of the plus minus as a stat. It's one of those where the stat itself is useless. You need a whole bunch of other data, and I'll give you an example that I remember from. It was a game the Fever lost, and there was a stretch where I think Wheeler and Wallace, Wheeler and Wallace were definitely on the court. I can't remember who else was, but basically, for the most part, sides emptied the bench. It was basically the bench and Caitlin Clark because Caitlin Clark basically never comes out. So she's obviously not going to have a great plus minus as a player because the Fever have a losing record, right? But for example, in that game, even though they lost, Melissa Smith had like a plus 22 or something, and Caitlin was a minus because she basically played all game. But again, the damage was done when Melissa Smith was on the bench. And it wasn't so much because Melissa Smith was on the bench, it was because of who was on the court. So as you can see, what we've done here, and then you get into like this win shares and estimated wins added, which is like has to do with the team. And then with it's just, we can't look at points or shooting percentage or assists or rebounds or block shots or any of these normal things that people can see. Where if you watch the players, you can see who the better player is. But that's not acceptable for Neil and ESPN because they need it to be someone besides Caitlin Clark. Okay. And so I'm going to do some comparison numbers. And again, this actually isn't really about Angel Reese. This is about the media. They have set up Angel Reese as the rookie of the year. That's who they're trying to replace Caitlin Clark with if, say, Cameron Brink didn't get hurt and they chose her, or it was Rakia Jackson or Camila Cardoso. That's where all my comparisons would be. And I don't even really know anything about Jackson or Cardoso. I haven't heard them say anything ridiculous that would bother me. I haven't heard them bashing Caitlin Clark. I didn't like that Cardoso was so excited when Reese got fouled at the end of that game because that just shows she's kind of bought into the nonsense of that streak. But I have nothing against them. If I was comparing Clark to them, it would be the same thing because Clark's just having a superior rookie year. And I mean, I don't have feelings toward Jackson or Cardoso either way. I actually feel bad for Camilla because I think her development and her play is being held back because they've decided to focus on getting Reese numbers. And so let's talk about that. First of all, anyone, again, it's the eye test. Anyone who's watched, it is simply a fact that many of Reese's offensive rebounds come on her own missed layups, and some of them are really badly missed, where I don't even think she's trying to make a shot. She's just throwing the ball up on the backboard. She makes 44% of her layups. Now I think this doesn't include the last game, I don't believe, but so I think before the last game, she's attempted 185 layups this season, made less than half, and 40 of them have been blocked. 40 of them have been blocked. That is not, I mean, she's supposed to be this high quality post player, but she can't make a layup and she gets a lot of her shots blocked. That's just, that's weird. But we're going to use all these other stats that no one even knows because a lot of them aren't even player stats. Like I said, things like, win shares and estimated wins and that added and all that nonsense don't have anything to do with these numbers, with the players and how they play. But Clark has more than twice. Again, back to the post player thing. Caitlin Clark has more than twice as many blocks as Angel Reese. 20-9. 20-9. That's crazy. Their shooting percentages, right? If we look at Caitlin Clark's, we'll just go to the normal numbers. 39.8% from the field, about so 40%. But 2/3 of her shots are threes, which she's shooting over 34.2% versus Angel Reese, who shoots everything under the basket and layups, 41.9%, so 42%. She's not even taking enough threes to be what she's probably taking like 8 or 9 threes, so that's not even worth looking at. Oh, come on, really? They're plying me with ads all over the place now. I know they do it on YouTube too, right? It drives you crazy. But so effective field goal percentage 42%. Caitlin's is over 50%, I believe. Yeah, 51%, and then same thing with total shooting percentage. You've seen that you've seen that before, but it's very different. Total shooting percentage, Caitlin's at 57.7%, Angel Reese is at 45.9%. So it's just not comparable. And look, I even brought these up to show you. I'll be happy to look at other players. This is Ricky Jackson, who, by the way, I think is having a solid rookie year. I think she's growing into becoming a solid player. She's got her average up over 10 points a game. She's averaging 10.7 points per game, shooting 45% from the field, right? 34.5 from three. It's solid. She's grabbing 3.6 rebounds. It's a solid number for a guard. Only 1 assist per game, but that could change too as she grows into it. But, and then there's nothing negative about those numbers. They're just not Caitlin Clark numbers. And then Cardoso, of course, she started off being injured, so she hasn't played a ton. She's only playing 25 minutes a game. She just got, I think, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think that game against the Fever that the Sky came back and won, I think that was Cardoso's first game, or well, maybe not because she's played by 15 now. She's started 12 of them, so she's coming along. But and solid numbers, but she's not even taking 8 shots a game. She's grabbing 8 boards. So that's solid. It's only because she's only playing 25 minutes. She's got 1.3 blocks per game. So again, solid, but that's not that's not Rookie of the Year numbers. It's not Caitlin Clark numbers. I mean, Caitlin Clark's the only rookie with 20 plus steals and 20 plus blocks. And, just the media is trying to make something that's not there because they don't like Caitlin Clark. And none of them come out and say this, so we can all just guess there's a lot of ists and isms in there or just plain jealousy. And they have, I guess, because of what happened with LSU and Iowa in that championship game and some of the other things that she's said, they've come out and they've anointed Reese as that player. And maybe it would have been Cameron Brink if she hadn't gotten hurt, or maybe it would have been Cardoso if Cardoso didn't start the season hurt. That would be my guess, because Cardoso for me is just a much better basketball player than Angel Reese. She can finish around the basket. She moves better. She's a better defender. She's a better shot blocker. She's a better shooter. She's a better passer. That's just simple. So again, it's not about Caitlin and Angel, right? I'll say the same thing. And I've been impressed, like I said, by Rickea Jackson as well. So, and by the way, here's one thing I think was really interesting that I want to show you too, because one of the things we hear about is, let's go to the threes first. Percent of field goals assisted, because one of the things we hear is, right, Caitlin, all she can do is shoot the long three. She can't assist. She can't create her own shot. So this is percent of field goals assisted by teammates. By the way, Katie Lou at 1,000%. See, there's a benefit to the to being on a team with Caitlin Clark. But we got to keep going. We got to keep going. We're going to go down. We're going to go down. We're going to go down. Lexi Hull's also at 1,000%. You got a lot of thousands in here. Look at that. Rickea Jackson 1,000%. Kennedy Carter 1,000%. But we're just going to go down and down. Look at all these big names too. Copper, Taurasi, Stewart, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, 81% of her outside shots. By the way, you've got Mitchell, Hull, and Samuelson from 81% to 1,000%. That goes back to what I said about how Caitlin Clark makes her teammates better. There's so much attention paid to her. They are getting wide open three-pointers. And then look, Kelsey Plum, Jewel Lloyd, Sabrina Ionescu, they all are getting assisted on their threes. Now here we go, finally, all the way down to almost where it becomes non-existent, because you get players who aren't playing that much and they have nothing. Caitlin Clark, only 56.9% of her threes are assisted by teammates. So a lot of her threes she's creating on her own. And let's look at the twos now. Okay, Katie Lou's up there again. Boy, she's really been a beneficiary of Caitlin Clark. Um, yeah, we're still scrolling. We're still scrolling. You got big time players like Brianna Stewart, high 74%, Asia Wilson 73%. There's Kelsey Mitchell 72%, Cardoso, Lexi Hull, Angel Reese, Taurasi, Boston, Rickea Jackson, Alyssa Thomas, Sabrina Ionescu. Yeah, we're still going. Jackie Young, Copper. Oh my goodness, we're still we're still going. Now look at this. Caitlin Clark, her 2-point buckets, her teammates assist on them 16% of the time. So she basically creates all her own 2-point shots. And by the way, if you look, she's basically the last regular player in the WNBA. Right? Look at the game number and then look at everyone below her. 8 games, 4 games, 3 games, 2 games. She's basically dead last in teammates assisting on her 2-point buckets, and she's pretty far down in teammates assisting on her 3-point buckets as well. Absolutely, absolutely insane. So yeah, she can create her own shots. And by the way, I'm going to give you a list. Check this out. 381 points, 175 assists, 131, 36 rebounds. Wait, are we higher than that now? Okay. I want to make sure I was including the last game if I had the numbers. So yeah, so I'll say it again: 381 points, 175 assists, 136 rebounds, 65 three-pointers made, 35 steals, 20 blocks. There's only one player, not one rookie, one player in WNBA history who has recorded that stat line, where it's at least that number in all of those categories. And she still has 17 games left to play this season. And again, I'm going to go back to, and this is why I brought up Jackson. This is why I brought up Cardoso. It's not an Angel Reese thing, other than the media is making it an Angel Reese thing. I'm happy to compare if they were ranking Cardoso 1 or Jackson 1 or Cameron Brink didn't get hurt and she was number 1 or number 2. I'd be comparing them in more detail. And one thing that I will say positive about Angel Reese that I really do like is she doesn't she's got it mentally. She doesn't shy away from big moments, which is really, really important. Right? She is a competitor. She's not afraid of banging down low under the basket, and that's a big thing. She seems to elevate her play at bigger moments, and that's elite athlete stuff. I think her game is far below her mentality, but the fact that her mentality is there raises the level of her game, and it gives you the thought that she can continue to improve. But she just simply is not right now. She's not very skilled. She does not dribble well. She can't shoot at all. Her shooting form is absolutely terrible. And again, and I said this before, I'm going to blame all the coaches who have had her over the years that have not fixed that. That's an embarrassment to her coaches that she has that shooting form, because that should have been corrected long ago. But my guess is the way Angel Reese plays is how she's played her entire life, and she had coaches who were just riding that and benefiting from it instead of helping her become a better player. She needs to, in the off season, hire someone who's very good at teaching shooting form, teaching the technical aspects of the skill, because she absolutely needs to improve that shot, and not just from distance. It's not just that, right? We thought she's making less than half of her layups. So she needs to get with someone in the offseason to fix that. She's not a very good defender. Like I said, she does not move well. That's just the simple fact. We saw the blocks, right? She may in some ways be an imposing presence under the basket, but you're not going to go up against her and worry about getting your shot blocked, whereas you will with Cardoso under the basket. But Caitlin Clark, and again, this goes back to why she's so popular. She is nothing like we've ever seen in the sport of women's basketball. She plays a style that's fun and entertaining, but it's also high level skill. And we've talked about her high soccer. Sorry, she played soccer too. Um, and I just saw someone posted. I saw a highlight of one of her goals in high school when she was still playing. But she does things on the court that no other WNBA player even thinks of doing. Her vision in terms of her passing, she sees everything, and the skill to go with it to deliver those passes. And yeah, you're going to get turnovers when you're throwing those types of passes. But you got to live with it. That's just the way it is, because she's throwing stuff that pretty much does have to be perfect. But when you are delivering a lot more often than not, it's a net benefit. It's absolutely a net benefit. But right now, Angel Reese, when you look at it the other way, she's a typical physical post player who in the WNBA who bangs under the basket and misses a lot of layups. And that sadly has been the league for a long time. So she has to evolve her game, and I really hope that she connects her mentality in competition into with the off-season opportunity to become a better player. Because look, when you have skill, but you don't have the mentality to go with it, you're going to go to a certain place and then you're going to hit a wall. And it's tough. There's not a lot you can do about it. But when you already have that mentality in competition, if you can use that mentality in your off season and dedicate yourself to becoming the best player you can become going into the next season and tune out all the other stuff, maybe get off social media, which by the way, I think all players should do. I think they all be better off. But yeah, but yeah, ESPN, it's not a thing, my friends. It's really not. It's not a competition at this point. Caitlin Clark is the rookie of the year. And I'll go back to what I said before the last couple of games. Yes, she is a legitimate MVP candidate. Yes, I know that the odds are probably 90-10 that it's going to be Asia Wilson. But when I say MVP candidate, I'm talking, top five, top six, top seven players. She has to be in that discussion. She has to be. She's just putting up numbers like no player has before her. So anyway, I just thought it was kind of entertaining. This got a little longer than I thought. I was just kind of going to make fun of Neil's craziness a little bit, but I dug a little deeper than that. So hopefully you're still here and you enjoy the content. And if you have, please like and subscribe. It really does mean a lot. And I will talk to you later.